Hello, my name is John Knight and I run a lovely fashion shop called Vintage to Versace. Now my passion obviously is fashion, and I love to talk about the history of fashion. And so I'm going to present to you the history of fashion through the 20th century. This is episode 4. The 1940s. After the elegance of the 30s, the world was plunged into a world war, and things really came to a grinding halt. All the major fashion houses shut up shop, and design just stood still. There wasn't any real design from 1939 until 1945, and people were making do with cutting up their dresses and their party frocks from the 20s and 30s and just existing. And many people wore uniforms or utility clothes, and the period of austerity hung over the whole of Europe. Now what happened in 1946, however, was the birth of a fashion house called Christian Dior. He was a young man. He had apprenticed as a designer to another house, but he broke away and set up his own fashion house in 1946, and his first collection shook the world. That collection is known as the New Look, or A-line, and he bucked the trend for austerity by putting together amazingly glamorous fabrics, huge quantities of material, and bringing out a new woman, a woman of huge glamour, a woman of confidence and beauty. And the world just stood back and was stunned by Christian Dior. Now I'll show you a Christian Dior dress in a little while, but the other influence, of course, of the 40s was the amazing and widespread influence of America. We had so many service personnel over from the States in Europe, and they brought with them their own dance, their own music, and their own style. And their style was very much the style of the movies and of the big dance bands. The American influence brought us short day dresses, short dresses that you could dance to, that you could jitterbug to, throw yourself around in. They were short and practical, and that was a huge trend in the 1940s. Let's have a look at a little silk day dress in the American style that Elsa is wearing for us. Now have a look at this. It's made probably of parachute silk, because there was a lot of that just after the war. It's put together very, very simply in two parts. Sewn from the waist downwards is almost like a black and white tartan effect, and above, simple silk with a matching collar to the skirt. Sleeves 3/4 length, and again the material matches the skirt. Very simple silver buttons down, and it is, I think, a very eye-catching and lovely dress. Let's have a look at the back. Very simple, plain, and this could easily be made at home. People had quite a craft instinct left over from the war to make their own items, and this could easily have been a homemade silk garment that would have done throughout the 40s. You could dance, go to work in it, a lovely simple day dress. Turn back round. Notice the length is a little bit higher than you'd expect for that time, and that was the American influence and the dance influence. It falls almost to the knee, but it is, I think, a very captivating and rather glamorous little dress. So my little silk dress from the 1940s, shown to us here by Elsa. Thank you. So that was day wear. And what influence did Christian Dior have? Well, look at this enormously glamorous piece that Laura is wearing for us here. This is a sumptuous dress. It actually weighs over 10 kilos. There is an enormous amount of material. So gone is the austerity. Christian Dior is saying, throw off the austerity, let's go glamorous again. And this creation here exemplifies the late 40s. I have accessorized the dress with a Christian Dior couture costume jewellery set from that time, but this dress echoes his A-line and new look of 1946. So let's have a look at the voluminous amount of material. This is very heavy silk, extremely heavy silk, and it is in patterns of pink, light blue and grey. All the way around we have probably 30 or 40 meters in total, and underneath we have loads of petticoats, and the petticoats could increase the size of the dress if you wish to. I love the banding up here and at the waist. Turn back round again. And the little bow detail here is absolutely lovely in the matching silks. Look at the way that the material is folded and creased in order to enhance that wrap around the waist and around the bust. I like the idea that the shoulders can come up or down to suit the mood, up or down as Laura had it originally. All in all, a ball gown of immense sophistication and glamour, and all due to Mr. Christian Dior and his new look. And it heralded in an age of English couturiers following suit. And we will also see at some time in the future, when I do this again, we will bring out our Norman Hartnell and Hardy Amy's creations that were trying to copy the styles from Paris. Thank you, Laura. You look absolutely lovely in that. Thank you for listening and looking at this episode of The History of Fashion. And this is just a reminder to let you know that we can bring this event with my models and our dresses and myself to tell the story at an event or an occasion, or if you're an organisation and you organise shows, we'd be delighted to come and be your guest and do the history of fashion for you.